So incredibly thankful to be here chatting. I'm in middle of France in Sarlat, the Périgord region, and I'm chatting across the globe with Dean Wolfgang Gilliar. And you were someone that I consider to be a visionary, someone that you had an idea beyond ultrasound in a simulation lab or in an ultrasound lab and really wanted to lean in to ultrasound for all of your students instead of just certain numbers. And that was back in 2020. The only school to do it before then was University of California, Irvine. And you were the first CO program and the first, really the first longitudinal. And so I just wanted to get your inspiration and figure out, see if you could share with us what it was that made you think this is something that you need to do, and any other tips or advice.
First of all, Renee, I really appreciate being here, invited with you and to have a chat with you. You know, I like to tell stories. When you use the word like visionary, it always sounds a little bristling to me because I don't see myself as a visionary. I see myself as someone who likes to look around corners. I feel honored that you see me that way. One of the things I was asked once, what is the primary role of a dean, was that I said a dean has to actually take advantages of opportunities for our students to grow both as a human being while becoming the best professional they can be in order to serve in the role and capacity of the most modern physician we can think of. Now, while in that job, I had a light bulb moment, and perhaps that's what it took, is that I'm not only destined to look for opportunities, but I'm supposed to create opportunities. And that became then my driver.
Okay.
To say, what can I do to facilitate that learning, that becoming of a better or a more socially oriented physician that really is much bigger than a diagnostician or a technician or a technologist. And so when I heard about Vave, we had initial discussions, and I had tried something similar at a different school, and it was hard to get off the ground. And the one thing that also I learned is when you do something, you need to do your homework. You need to have the pros and cons and all of that, but you cannot tiptoe. If you do something, you cannot just put your little tippy toes and say, oh, let's try this, let's try this. And we often do this in education, I think, because we are fearful.
Yes.
I really think we should go,
Yes.
when you make the decision, go for it and do it and hopefully do it right. But that's part of the learning. And in this regard, I said, there is no two ways around it. I have 180 students. They all should learn this ultrasound. Actually, they should all have it in their own pocket, because the other tool that they have is their hands, which we're teaching them with the osteopathic medicine, which they always have with them.
Yeah.
So I thought it was actually the perfect complement. And so that was the beginning of it. And I can tell you, the reason why we were successful is because we had the support from everyone in the school, as well as in the structure of Touro University, so that we could financially pull this off. And I can talk to you about this, how we did it, and hopefully it helps other deans and other people to do this, because that's the first question here. How much does it cost to do it? And to me, that's really a silly question, because money should not be in the forefront. You should say, what do you need? And then what can you do to get there?
I love it. And something, so obviously money always comes up, but I think I appreciate what you're saying about what do my students need the most and what does the school need the most. And so I'm curious if you, I hear anecdotes from your faculty, your students over the years, but if you were to try to sum up, what do you think your students have gotten? And then the flip side of that is, what do you think your school has, your College of Osteopathic Medicine has attained from this integration?
Yeah, I like the word integration, because you know, that's ultimately what a physician has to do. But the next other word that starts with I is improvisation. If you look at the best musicians, and this is why I like to say osteopathic medicine and ultrasound is like the jazz in music, because the jazz musician is both the interpreter, the new organizer, the new arranger, the new melodist, all of this coming together. And when we are with a patient, that's exactly what we do. We have to improvise with our
Improv.
improv with each patient. And so the story is this: our students with the ultrasound get a new way of seeing. And I always like to say, my students learn to see through sound, ultrasound. And if you think about it, through sound, we make our patients sound healthy. And so we're just playing with
That
all
too.
those words. Is what's exciting is that the ultrasound gives us a tool that is ready. It's at your fingertips. You don't have to prescribe it. You don't have to wait for the results. And while doing, you gain so much information about the patient, not just about the structure that you're looking for or that you scan in a fast exam. You can see how the patient is in pain. You can see how the patient is leaning in or understands. Those are all, I think, these beautiful things that you as a physician should be able to do. So in that regard, the stories we have gotten is this: when students, and I've seen them in the labs, when they go and the first ultrasound, oh my God, I didn't realize how far back the kidneys
Light
really are.
bulbs.
That light bulb,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, I did
Mm-hmm.
not realize that the heart lies like this. It's not like this or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now I understand where is a curvature. And they even said, oh, now if we have to put a stent or whatever and how it works, it's like, oh, they are seeing correlations with it in real time, in real anatomy, and then you add the physiology. As you know, if you look at the kidney, you know, why are there hypoechoic areas? What is this that you can really relate to the chemistry and to the physiology?
Beautiful pyramids.
It's the pyramid. Boom. Yes,
Yeah.
and that this is exactly what, you know. If you think about it, we have learned a lot by reading. And the written word, was the only translator that we had from the knowledge that people had to me learning new things. Now we see it by doing. This is a
Mm-hmm.
totally different approach than you having to read the hard sounds like X, Y, and Z, lub dub lub dub, and then you hear even the
Yeah.
descriptions of it, and then you know a friction rub, whatever, and then when you are have the hand and you see that actually there's pericarditis, and you see the difference in that heart structure by while it's moving. That is something that really adds to the understanding. So the students learn in 3D in real life. And we
Yes.
are trying now to integrate this
Love
from
it.
day one in anatomy, in osteopathic manipulation, even just to show this is the clavicle. This is where it goes. But you know, the clavicle is not a stick, it's actually a twisted stick. Why is it twisted? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
muscles attached because a certain movement has to be allowed, the shoulder has to be stabilized, blah, blah, blah. But you can show this simply with one good ultrasound. And then when you go into the anatomy and physiology, you teach this in a different way. And that's why I really enjoy what Vave has done. You have taken this to the next level of not just saying, here we provide to you a tool and here is the probe and go with it. You are saying we also teach you to do it. It's really not saying here's to fish. You are saying we are giving you the tools to learn to fish. And this is to me the right way that Wave has done it with your wonderful modules. I mean, they are beautiful. I mean, I see the anatomical drawings, and so
Yeah.
it's almost something that is almost so obvious, but it's so obvious that we didn't see it.
It means a lot to me to hear that, because the med ed modules and the overall program is sort of, it's like it's my baby, and I work on it with some colleagues. But the concept in medical school for me, I will admit, I was a very good binger and purger. So I could memorize things and then take a test and forget them. And when they're not placed in context, it is hard to retain them. And so for us, the goal is that ultrasound is not just a clinical skill. Yes, it's a fabulous clinical skill, but it's something that shows living anatomy, physiology. My favorite thing, parasternal long axis of the heart. We can see the mitral valve close, aortic valve close, and we watch and we pause and we go through S1, S2, systole, diastole, etc. So the concept of using ultrasound to help augment the foundational sciences or bring the foundational sciences to life. At the same time, they are learning how to acquire an image, which will lead to clinical skills. Because I like to say, to be competent, you need to be able to uh, acquire an image, interpret an image, and clinically integrate. That clinical integration is going to happen in third, fourth years residency, even. But we want to create pluripotent stem cell students that come out and have a foundational knowledge. They're very good at their foundational sciences. They know the body, and then they can go focus on only the babies or only the, only the bones, etc. So to me, it means a lot to hear that. Yeah, so I'm just very thankful that you agree with the concept of my part of my life's work. So
and it comes together. I mean, the ultimate future modern physician, in my opinion, this is personally my opinion, is the ability to problem solve within a context that they have never realized how big that context is. It's
yeah.
socially related, it's societally related, it's the greater good related, it is cost related, it is related as to public health as well as population health. All of those terms that have been thrown around, our future students have to navigate this. I really think we recreate the old physicians are coming at the beginning of the 20th century, who was really the gentleman and the scholar who knew about the arts and who knew about modern technology coming about, but they learned how to think. And I think that the ultrasound is one way of teaching you how to think. My doggy is
you're a sweet dog there. I want to.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, Zoe, come on up.
Where is she? There she is. She wants to go out.
Oh, so cute.
She wants to go outside.
Yes. Okay. Well,
The door's open. She can go. Okay.
I love it. So, so we've talked about the students, and are there any appreciable impacts or benefits that you feel that your school, obviously we care about you have to care about your students, but you're the dean, you have a bigger picture to look after as well. So I'm curious if you had any additional benefits on the college level.
There's both the tangibles and the intangibles. The tangibles is that we have a real solid tool on which we can build that skeleton and then stick things on. And I think I got a lot of buy-in from basic sciences together with the clinical sciences of coming together and especially building it into the curriculum. I really feel that if it's added into the curriculum in an integrated way, rather than another course, ultrasound course, we actually made an institution-wide coming together, and that to me was a team builder. The intangible is more in the realm of why is this important and why would we want to do it? And we had a lot of discussions on it, but what it also fostered was also what is our mission? Whatever we had to talk through, why ultrasound? Why should we invest that money into this? And where can we reallocate things in our budget so that we can do this? It became a driver to support the mission of educating the best physicians we can do, especially with an emphasis, not only, but an emphasis on the primary care, the pluripotent cell stem, that the stem cell that we can build it. So the university and the medical school is very proud that we have something that we all agree to. And when we talk finances, that's one of the first things is, so Wolfgang, how expensive is one of them? They multiply it by the 130 students. Oh my God, I don't have 400, 500, $600,000 for this. Where did you get it? I sometimes joke around because we are close to Las Vegas, but I don't go there on the weekends to play for it. But what it is really,
it's not roulette.
It's not roulette, even though I would like to be one of those lucky guys, but nobody is, because the bank always wins and the casino always wins. But what it was is we really looked at the entire budget together, including our associate deans and assistant deans, and we looked at where can we redistribute something, and we found a way of literally shifting certain things that we figured we could be without and have a bigger goal, namely the ultrasound. And so this is why we were able to proceed with this. And so far, it has paid off. The payoff has been much better than if we had adhered to the old things. And so I'd like to encourage my dean colleagues or other educators, don't start out with the money, but find a way to find it. And for instance, it's a good philanthropic tool as well. You can, people who are interested in supporting, they might say, oh, I'd like to support 1 or 2 or 3 students a year with 3 ultrasounds. So if you get 10, 20 people donate like this, already we have 50, 60 students that are supported. So I really think there is a good way of moving it forward in a real reasonable way.
I like to say, why would you put your name on a brick? Put your name on an ultrasound. Something that you and I had talked about in the past, specifically in Nevada, Las Vegas. You all are grossly underserved. I believe you're 48 out of 50 for prenatal care and obstetricians or maternal healthcare providers.
Right.
And so I think one piece of advice I would give to deans, POCUS champions, other faculty is don't let perfection be the enemy of good or the enemy of starting. Because if you just said, all I want my students to know is wet versus dry lungs and the bladder. I'm not kidding. The bladder is not like the sexy, cool, like cardiac output, but it is so darn helpful day in, day out. Or if you said, I want them to know, OB, head up, head down, where's placenta? One,
Yes.
2, 3, the very, very, very basics. So, of course, it's tempting to think that you should augment your entire 20,000 objectives of your medical school with ultrasound. But really, you can start small and focused and then grow from there.
Yeah, actually, I like the small and focused POCUS. And, I like the term POCUS, point of care ultrasound. It is something that gets back into the direct use by the physician. You don't have to refer to
Yeah.
someone. You get it immediately, and you see it with your own eyes, and you have that picture, and you have actually proof of it. You just can make a permanent picture of it and then share it with someone. You get the feedback. And I really think also will help in the communication, and then also looking for underserved areas. It is not the end all
Yeah,
be all.
absolutely.
It's not a panacea, but it's a worthwhile thing for high need, high urgent situations. And then just also, I mean, for instance, we're talking about connection. I mean, the first time a mother sees that miracle that's growing, I mean, what a connection there is. And if you can show this with ultrasound and you have the tool to show it, it just makes an incredible impression.
Yeah, that's cardiomyopathy, plaques. There's a plethora of things that we can teach patients with ultrasound. I mean, I could be poetic about this forever. One of the things I will say, we mentioned, or we've mentioned in previous discussions, is the concept train the trainer, and that's something that I'm incredibly proud of your faculty and in working with them. A concept for us is that we're not just a Vave, it's not just a device, it's not just didactic content, but we come to your university twice per year and do train the trainer. So we'll spend some time with your faculty. Now they're all excellent. I just go and help support with machine issues. And then off view, for instance, they'll be like, hey, Renee, can you come help me out with this? Or my coworkers, so my other coworkers, sonographers will help. But in the beginning, these were your standard DO faculty. And so family medicine, internal medicine, even emergency medicine, maybe one of the EM people had trained before ultrasound. So you had the one champion from EM. But the concept of train the trainer is that I'm very proud of. That's how we build capacity, and that's how we build sustainable programs. Because if we put everything on the shoulders of your one POCUS champion, that person's going to burn out and leave, and then you're stuck with nothing. So I'm really proud of your faculty and their growth and investment in this.
Yeah, and again, that was one of those tangible success stories because we opened it up
Mm-hmm.
and we said we are integrative, we are inclusive. Who else wants to learn this? We need to do this together. And then there came that spirit of
Yeah.
collaboration. And you're absolutely right. I've been to some hospitals and simulation centers that they look beautiful as buildings, but if there is not the humans who run it, it becomes an empty
Mm-hmm.
space. And that's really what Vave is doing here to also help that the trainers get trained and then the students, and therefore we have a continuum. And in that regard, I think that's what's so encouraging, and we look forward to it every time you come and we have a session. It's more than just a clinical session. It's really one where also one of the intangibles that I didn't mention before, the students see that, oh, faculty is interacting, faculty is learning. Oh,
Yeah.
look how they talk
Mm-hmm.
to each
Yeah.
other.
I
Oh,
think, yeah, it's good. Yeah, very good. Lifelong learning, the
lifelong
demonstration that
learning.
you were never done learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, lifelong learning. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, it is now. I thank you so much for chatting with me. It is 9:30 my time, and so I'm getting a little sleepy. But I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you having this Zoom chat with me across the globe, and I look forward to seeing you all next time I'm down in Las Vegas. And I just encourage anyone who's contemplative or pre-contemplative about ultrasound, reach out to me. I can try to channel some of Dean Gilliar's advice, and I think we are just excited to get more people in the know and try to help facilitate what we I'm speaking for you, of course, but what I believe to be the next, the best thing for medical education and future clinical care.
Yeah, I agree with you. And sometimes, you know my words and I know your words because we almost go into
Yeah.
this gin tonic space there. But I
Yes.
appreciate what you have done. And just I think that when there's enthusiasm, it becomes motivation. And when motivation becomes inspiring because the students see, oh, wow, this is really meant for me to be better. The last thing I'd like to say is we try to marry compassion as an underground, as a base, not underground, but as a base, as the ground.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I like to make
Yeah,
sure that competence begets confidence and confidence begets competence, so that those two is what we can deliver
I like that.
ultimately to the patient, because the patient requires and requests of us that we are competent. And then when we are competent and
Hmm.
confident, it's really where we can guide the patient next forward. And in that regard, it's another intangible one. And ultrasound to me is really that vehicle. So thank you so much for your time, and it was fun for me. And
Yes, thank you. Thank you
I'm
for chatting.
envious of your culinary experiences and the libations that go with it. But I'm not
Yes,
going to
it's
say anything
wonderful.
there. All
Yes.
right.
Well,
Okay.
and thanks for letting us use Zoe for a little bit, and
Oh, yeah.
I will see you next time.
Yeah, she's always a good,
All right.
good, and I never have to pay her. That's the one thing. All right. Thank you so much.
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
Okay. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye
Bye bye.
bye.